I get up this morning, ready for church, put on some of my best clothes, and jumped in the vehicle because wouldn't it be great if I could actually go to church this morning, but we're still sheltered at home. I even have my prayer team badge on this morning. And I want to take this opportunity to wish all of the mothers out there a very happy Mother's Day. To those here at home and also my friends around the globe, if you have been blessed with a loving, giving, godly mother, you indeed are so blessed this morning. The scripture talks about Timothy in 2 Timothy, and that his grandmother had sincere and genuine faith, and then his mother, and then it also was passed down to Timothy. Proverbs says about that ideal woman that she opens her mouth with wisdom, and teaching of kindness is on her tongue, and strength and dignity are her clothing. Some may not have a living, loving, godly mother. While I give honor to my own mother, now gone, I also want to identify some of the other mothers that the Lord has given to me in my life. The book of Romans, chapter number 16, when Paul finishes out that chapter, verse number 13, he mentions that Rufus is chosen in the Lord. And then he asks Rufus to greet his mother and mine. So there's that opportunity that we have to choose mothers in our lives. And it just so happens that they adopt us and we adopt them. They believe in us. They encourage us. They care for us. One of my greatest supporters in missions and in my life was my mother-in-law, and she called me her son in love, affectionately known as Mama. Mama, I don't remember her ever getting upset with me. And if it came any time close, she would quote that scripture that says, "Great peace have those that love thy law, and there will be nothing that will offend them." My wife's grandmother, Mima, she could think of nothing that I could possibly do wrong. But there are others too. When I came into the church some years ago, too many years for me to identify right now, Lynn Jewett brought me into the church, but I've often said that Lynn brought me into the church, but it was the Thompson family that kept me in the church. I don't think I would have stayed in the church if it hadn't have been for Ruby Thompson and their family, and that is the mother to Brad Thompson, the missionary that we have in Guatemala. But as I journeyed through life, and that's why I'm in my vehicle today, because life is a journey. It's a journey that we have embarked on. We're going somewhere. And the Lord has blessed us with mothers and fathers, brothers and sisters along the way. When I think of Evangeline Rodenbush, Dignity Deluxe, such a tremendous lady who felt that I was a shining star and has encouraged me throughout my ministry. I remember being in a country as a missionary, and the village weren't so happy that we were there. So they came and attacked the Bible school, and I happened to be in the Bible school at the time, and the students encouraged me to stand in the corner. And as they attacked and destroyed the Bible school, all I could hear is Sister Rodenbush speaking into my mind, and she would say, "Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord." And when I stopped hearing that voice, I jumped out of that vehicle and headed across that field and out of there. June Hughes was another mother to me and is another mother to me. Brother and Sister Hughes have no children biologically of their own, but they chose to adopt those of us that needed a mother, a father, a grandmother, or a grandfather. It reminds me of another lady that I'm familiar with these days. Her name is Jenny Russell, the executive vice president of Urshan College and UGST. And Jenny is that type of individual. She adopts people into her life, and she's such a blessing to them. Well, with Brother and Sister Hughes, I remember, unfortunately, when Sister Poitras had a miscarriage, it was Sister Hughes. She was there. She stuck with us. She stayed with us, and she helped us through that particular time in our lives. When we were missionaries in Ghana, the Lord sent Brother and Sister Westberg to us. And Sister Westberg, a tremendous mentor and writer, adopted me. They adopted me as one of their children, and I am forever enriched by it. Sister Westberg, if you know her, she has the tremendous ability to ask you all kinds of questions, and they're questions with a purpose. It's not just probing, but it's causing you to go ahead and think about what you're doing, what you're saying, what you're writing. The Lord brought into our lives Brother and Sister Milton Rhodes some years ago. They became like parents to me and grandparents to our children. Brother Rhodes is no longer living. I remember at his funeral, taking part in his funeral, and saying that if you didn't have a Bible, if you just followed the footsteps of Brother Rhodes, it would lead you to God. I remember Sister Rhodes that particular morning as we gathered in her son's office. He was the pastor of the local church there. And she said that day that she woke up that morning with a scripture on her mind. And it talked about, this is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and I will be glad in it. What an amazing lady. I remember one year, Kendra was so convinced that she needed red shoes. And she was so convinced that she also believed that Brother and Sister Rhodes, Papa Rhodes, would be able to make her red shoes. And I'm not sure exactly how it happened, but she did get red shoes that year. And also later in life, Sister Rhodes sent Kendra a pair of red shoes when she was passing through. I can't remember if it was her wedding. I think it was her graduation from her degree program. But there have been so many people that have been a blessing in my life, mothers that have adopted me. There's been others like Mimi Garrison. And last but certainly not least, the Queen Mother that is here in my own home, the one that I love and appreciate and honor so much today on this particular Mother's Day. She has allowed me to see what a real mother ought to be. And it's been just a few feet away as she has displayed it every day. She's made sure that the needs of our children have been met. But she's also taken care of my particular needs. So if you do not have a mother today, adopt one. And if you are out there in our churches, mothers of the church, I challenge you, adopt someone as your son or daughter, even when it means in addition to your own family that you love very much. In closing, somebody says, to the world, you may be only one, but remember, to that one, you may be the whole world. Happy Mother's Day, mothers. We appreciate you more than words can express.